Welcome to the Configure Price Quote podcast. My name is Frank Sohn and I'm the founder of No CPQ Consulting. This podcast is 100% focused on Configure Price Quote, also known as CPQ, and will provide you useful insights into this topic. My guest today is Sergy Jermakov. Sergey is Graip.ai's co-founder and COO and is based in Riga, Latvia. Graip.ai is a solution that supports process automation with robotic process automation and self-learning artificial intelligence. Sergey has been with SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, and others before he co-founded Graip.ai in February 2020. Welcome back to the CPQ podcast, Sergey.
Thank you, Frank. It's great to be back on your show.
Great to have you. And for everyone who didn't listen to the first one was with Clarity. That's a system integrator. This time is for Graip.ai, so a different company. So tell our listeners a little bit what you did before you founded Graip.ai.
Okay, so I spent the past 20 years working with the enterprise application and mostly with solutions that shaped ERP market, probably as we know it today. So I started back in 1999 working with the ERP application like Sun Systems. So these days it is a part of Infor. Then later I started like with JD Edwards that was acquired by Oracle. Then I spent some time with Navision, which is a part of Microsoft right now. But most of my experience with enterprise application space is with SAP, where I spent 10 years in different roles as a part of customer experience line of business. And after SAP, I've moved to Clarity. And so we are, just maybe a little recap, we're a partner of SAP working primarily with SAP quote-to-cash products. And our major focus is CPQ and billing.
Now, the question here is, Sergey, are you getting bored with all the tasks that you're doing anyway so that you set up Graip.ai, or what was the reason for you to set up this company?
Well, we have like quite a lot of activities in Clarity. So I wouldn't say that I was bored, but this idea came up to us as the part of customer request, basically customer requirements. When we've been implementing one of our CPQ projects, one of our customers came up with the requirement that they want to process the customer specification requests that they have been receiving in Excel spreadsheet format as the part of the RFP. And these specification requests was like quite large documents with from 3,000 to 5,000 line items in the request. And for that particular customer, it took like around 1-2 weeks of manual work to map customer request positions with the product catalog, basically finding all these products to fill it in back into the spreadsheet. And we started exploring different options, and we ended up finding that machine learning was the best way to solve it. And so we started creating the prototype. And that processed this Excel request specifications, and based on historical data, selected relevant products from the product catalog. And and so what we have like realized and identified at that point of time, that we just from building the model from scratch are able to achieve around 90% time saving in the specification processing and quite a good accuracy on that recognition, and basically limiting the sales work just to reviewing the document and validating the results. And so then we really started thinking that we are dramatically improving the sales performance by doing that type of the automating this type of the processes. And we started looking at the different options. For example, what if salesperson, and salespeople, they are the most boring part of sales job is working with the documents, right? So salespeople, they prefer spending time with their customers, closing the deals and having nice conversations, lunches and stuff like that. But it's not something that they enjoy working with the documents. And then we started thinking, how do we automate this sales job even more? and we started exploring different options. Like, for example, you get an email with the request specification attached to it, or just simply in the body of mail, you have the list of the products that customer requests from you. And then salesperson is simply forwarding this email to the system. And then he gets, after some time, he gets notification that data is ready for him. And that's it. So, and this, I mean, first of all, allows them to get rid of these boring things. From the other side, it gives them the huge ability to respond to the RFP request first. And I mean, we know from the statistics that the first one who has responded to the RFP request usually gets the deal, right? And so we started like thinking about different applications of this technology, and so that's basically how we started the company.
Excellent. We will talk about that in a minute. One thing I wanted to know also for you, so that's another startup right now. What do you like or dislike the most about the whole startup phase?
Well, starting up the company is usually quite an exciting time because you have to learn a lot of new things. And in this case, what we learned that we have to really identify the way how we do the product development, because Clarity is consulting company, and we of course doing a lot of implementations and a lot of specific development within the projects, but we do not do development as the process from scratch. And so here I think the most exciting part for me was really to build the team that is first of all capable to build the processes that we haven't just experienced before, related to the development of the solution itself, and also building the product focused business is a little bit different business model also from the sales perspective. And since I'm having this extensive sales background, for me it was like another challenge really to build this model and build the go-to-market strategy, and also build the team that is focused on selling not just consulting services, for example, but selling the product. And I think that this was like two major exciting things for me personally.
Got it. Now I have a question concerning the current economic situation. So you see a lot of these economic fears with inflation, recession, and so on. I was wondering if that has any impact on Graip.ai at this time.
Well, it's quite opposite for us, because what we are doing, we are improving the processes and really allowing companies to do more with less. And, when it comes to the processing of the documents, in some of the departments in the companies, there are like people just dedicated for the document entry. For example, if you take the typical finance process with the invoices, you would find a lot of companies who has like 10 people entering invoices and documents and receipts and things like that. And what they are facing right now, especially taking into account different trends like global resignation and great resignation and things like that, they struggle really to grow their business because they have limited capacity. And what we allow them really to do is to process much more documents with the same amount of the resources, people resources, and really this capability and flexibility in growing their business and operations. So we see like the high demand here, and almost every customer that we start working with, it's just a matter of them to decide where they start first, whether it is a sales department or it is a finance department, or this is something else they want to automate that is really to help them really to accelerate the business.
Got it. Excellent. So then before we talk more about Graip, let me ask you a personal question, and that's a little bit different for you this time because you were on the podcast before, right? Is what's one thing that people are generally surprised to find out about you?
Okay. So I think that I will be uncovering something that most of people still don't know. Most of my friends and colleagues, they know that I'm passionate about cooking and appreciating food, and but no, very limited amount of people know that I've been running food blog for 2 years. And so this was at the very early stage of the blogging, and so I had quite a successful food blog that I was running, but my passion to technology took over my time, unfortunately, so I had to shut it down, but still it was a very great experience for me.
And I think that's very interesting information for business partners, right? So when they invite you for lunch or dinner, they should really pay attention because you pay attention to the food. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's talk about Graip.ai. Please tell our listeners a little bit more about the products and services that you offer.
Yes. So as I mentioned, we started with the sales scenario, right? And since we are in the quote to cash space, of course, for us, it was really interesting to uncover how this technology could be applied within the quote to cash portfolio, first of all. And so what we realized is that with all this request specification processing, because you will find a lot of different industries where sales reps are getting huge request specifications, like, for example, construction, building materials, right? So the metals and mining. So all of these companies, they're usually sourcing quite big projects. And so we started thinking how to embed this solution into the quote to cash process. And what we ended up with is that we started by capturing the request specification and pushing this data into the CPQ. So basically what is happening after you get the request specification, you send it to Graip or you upload it into Graip if we have a document. And after the data been validated by the sales rep, with one click of a button, he could push it into the external CPQ system that he is using. And within the CPQ system, we create a draft quotation with the list of the products, and then the sales rep could continue working on the CPQ side as usual, like playing with pricing and building the quotes. And this was the first application for Graip. Then we started looking at different processes because, we have like quite a lot of companies that already established themselves quite well within the RPA category, which is Robotic Process Automation. And we see really great companies. They've been like on the market for many years, and they have like quite a good customers, and they did a lot of automation projects. But what is different from the RPA, that the RPA technology helps you really to automate processes that are not intelligent. So, for example, if you copying files from one folder to another, this would be the typical case for robotic process automation. So, and then we started looking at different departments within the companies and different processes that they are running. So primarily document-related processes. And we started looking at the different file formats and identifying the ways on how do we do this automation within these departments. And so we ended up with several use cases that we built already. That includes like all the finance document processing, like, for example, you get your invoice, you get your purchase order, and we process the data and, for example, create the sales order in the ERP system. Or we take the document and the document ID or passport, for example, we scan it and we get the data extracted out of it. So basically, we ended up with a solution that extracts the data from different types of the documents. I think that now we're supporting almost all type of documents, typical document data, and we make this data usable in external systems. So whether it is data that needs to be entered in the ERP system or CPQ system or CRM system or any other system of your choice, so we are able to really create data out of the document and make this data usable in your backend and front-end system.
And I think what you just mentioned begs a follow-up question, right? That since you mentioned all these systems, do you have productized integrations with a number of systems that listeners should know about?
Yes, currently we have integrations with the CPQ systems and several CPQ systems, but our approach to integration that we have created an open API, and First of all, we have like the integration strategy that involves RPA vendors from one side, because the existing like customers who are using the robotic process automation solutions, they could leverage Graip on top of their RPA system. And second, we are building currently integrations to major ERP systems on the market. Of course, as you could imagine, we have it already for SAP, but we're extending this to different other systems that are most popular, for example, like workbooks, or the Oracle ERP system and Microsoft Dynamics ERP system. So this is coming, and of course, we will prioritize our integration efforts based on the customers where we are implementing solution. But I think that in upcoming 12 months, we will get integration with major systems that are present on the market.
Novo CPQ Consulting helps you with all CPQ related questions. For example, we help customers to find the best CPQ solution for their business, and we help customers analyze their current business process to determine if and where CPQ can help. Here it's important to point out that we are 100% independent and always look out for our customers first. This means for us also that we don't get paid by any CPQ vendor for providing them new customers or for any other services. We are focused on our customers and always provide the best available information to them. We also help system integrators to improve their services, and we offer the only CPQ industry subscription that provides monthly CPQ news and trends. We have many other services, so check it out today at novocpq.com. Send me an email to frank.sohn@novocpq.com to learn how we can help you with your CPQ questions, and keep us in mind when you look for 100% impartial CPQ advice. And you focus on specific industries?
No, we don't focus on specific industries. I think that most of our use cases are applicable for most industries, but I think that it really depends on scenario, because if we look at the request specification processing sales case, so it would be definitely relevant for the industries who are getting these large requests, large specifications from the customers. And if we look at the cases related to the purchase orders or invoices or any other document formats, I think that you would find them in pretty much any company. And so we are not really focusing on any specific particular industry.
But are you focusing on a specific customer size? Because I could imagine some of these processes are very beneficial for very large companies, right? But you're also working with smaller ones. What's the target customer size?
Yes, we work with the smaller ones, and we are currently releasing system for public. So you would be able just to register on our website and start using the system with your data, because we have trained our machine learning models to the point where we could just upload and almost extract data from any type of documents that we support with the quite high accuracy. Like for example, on the purchase orders, invoices, we get like 99% accuracy. And so this is really speeding up the processing of these types of the documents and just limiting the amount of time people spend on them. And also we work on supporting processes like, for example, invoice to purchase order matching or bank reconciliation process, right? So all the processes where you are dealing with manual entry, with data mapping. And these are the areas where you get most of the errors, because people are making errors. And we our strategy is that we are making just simply this technology available to any size of the customer. We are extremely flexible in our pricing, so we are just charging based on the amount of the document that the customer has processed. And we are not really putting any thresholds here. For example, customers with certain amount of documents per month. So I think that for any size of the company, we are ready to support them.
Okay, so just be clear, it's for all sizes. It's not specific for just small or large, and anyone could use it.
Yes, sure. Because I mean, the difference for us is the following. So if you are the small company, for example, you are, I don't know, you are doing accounting outsourcing for your customers and you are using QuickBooks, for example. So you would be able just to register on the website, buy the credit, and process your documents and automatically export them into your QuickBooks, or get the export file that you could import later. It depends on your requirements. If we're looking at the larger companies, probably we see integration to be done and consulting services on top of the core product. And this is how we really differentiate. So the cases where we will have implementations and where customers could use it as a self-service.
Got it. Now, the next question is, where is the majority of your customers right now? You're in Latvia, so I would expect that the focus right now is on Europe. Is that correct, or you're starting it differently?
Yes, for sure. We are working with the local companies, and we basically get the global approach. We work with the customers. We don't really look at their location, since we are completely having the remote setup. So we are able to really do the customer implementations in any country. So, for example, right now we have customers from Australia, and where we are doing the proof of concept. So we are not really focusing on any specific market.
Got it. And the company, we already mentioned it, is still pretty young, right? So only 2 years old. So how many employees do you have at this time, and are you still hiring?
Yeah, sure. We are our team is constantly growing. So currently we have 25 people in the company. And of course, as you could imagine, we are closely working with Clarity, and Clarity is supporting Graip in terms of the implementation services. Because over the last 10 years, we have built a very strong team of business analysts and then developers and other people who could really support as the partner company, I would say, who is doing implementations. And yes, we are hiring. Our team is growing, and we're looking forward to grow even more and faster.
Interesting. One thing I want to mention also is that you have offices in Washington, D.C., right? So you would potentially hire there as well.
Yes, we are definitely are looking to hire people in all locations we have. And as I said, so we are focused on building the teams depending on the customer requirements, not on their location. So, I mean, for us, it really doesn't matter where team members are located. So we're currently spread across the globe, I would say. And definitely we're looking into that.
Excellent. And now, please tell me a little bit more what your customers are really interested in. If you look at the top 3 business requirements that you hear from them, what are they telling you?
Well, I think that what the major thing that customers are looking in is accuracy, and this is really something that we have chosen as our primary differentiator, because you would find a lot of companies on the market providing services related to the document recognition and OCR and things like that. But what is really different that we, for example, are focusing on building our custom models that has high accuracy in the specific scenarios that we are covering. And what our customers are surprised, and the comment I hear from them, that some of them have tried already this type of the technology before, but they haven't achieved the results that they've been looking for. And I think that this is what customers are interested in. So they are looking into the really automate the process as much as it's possible, and reduce the efforts people spend on the process, and really get almost autonomous process in terms of the accuracy and the data that they get out of it.
Excellent. Anything else that customers really look for beside accuracy?
Well, definitely they are looking into the native integration into their environment. This is something that, well, again, I think that able to boost the productivity, because if you are able to get your data out of the document in your backend system in 1 click or 2 clicks, or spending less time on that, and this is like the I think that the major case for such a quick return on investment that machine learning based systems provide. Because here we are looking, for example, we are looking from the ROI perspective, we are looking into the less than a year. And I think that this is what customer are looking for right now. So first of all, they are trying to decrease the cost of the process. And this is what technology allows them to do. And if we are ensuring the low entry point in terms of the license and service costs, then achieving the quickest possible return on investment and providing the high accuracy that is allowing them really to reduce amount of people that is working on the process and dedicate these people to some cognitive tasks in the organization that only people can do, only humans can do, is definitely something that they're looking for, because everybody has this shortage in experienced resources, professional resources. And I think that another value when we're looking into the sales case, for example, this is the time to revenue for salespeople. And I think that since we're on the CPQ podcast, it is the most important thing to cover, because with this type of the technology, for example, if you are looking at the typical salesperson who is getting onboarded, and he has to spend some time learning products and understanding what is the right product for the customer request. So this thing is really helping them to automatically do the mapping and really get the correct products in their quotes. And we see a dramatic acceleration in the time to revenue process, because the sales rep is able to really be productive from almost day one.
Got it. So let me get to my last question. What are the top learnings from your side up to this point? Did anything surprise you so far? And an additional question is also, is it correct that Clarity is doing most of the implementation projects up to this point?
At this point, yes. So we are quite actively right now looking into the new alliances and partnerships. And I mentioned already the technology partnerships that we have with RPA vendors and ERP systems and front-end vendors, but we're also looking for implementation partners and resale partners. That's for sure our priority in upcoming half a year. And what we learn from the implementation. So the funny thing is that once customer gets the idea and the functionality of the product and the capabilities, I would say, of the product, they started coming up with a lot of different ideas on how they could apply technology in different departments of their business. And in some cases, so just one of the recent cases we had, we did a presentation for a customer, and customer called us back 3 times asking, is it possible to do this and that and apply this in that department and automate that process? And it was really funny for us to see how this simple demo triggered a lot of creativity from the customer. And customer was, by the way, in the beginning of presentation, customer was very resistant, and they thought that we are replacing people in the company with the technology, and really ended up in being super creative about the use cases.
Very interesting, but unfortunately, we're already coming to the end of this episode. Hence, my last question is, what's a good way for interested listeners to contact you in case they have any follow-up questions?
Yeah, sure. So you can send me an email, so at hello@Graip.ai, just easy to remember. Or you can visit our website and just leave a request there. I'm happy to get back to you.
Sergey, thank you very much for making time for the CPQ podcast today.
Thank you, Frank.
I'd like to thank everyone for listening and hope you learned something interesting today. If you like the podcast, please go ahead and rate it on iTunes or share it with your friends and colleagues. In the meantime, you can find us online at www.novocpq.com. So long, everyone.